here?
I don't know.
Yeah. We are live. What's going on with this? Hold up. So.
Looks like we're live.
Okay.
We are live.
Have we got sound? Hello world. Can we just share this?
I thought we were.
Can you pass me my phone? No, I need to share to my. Well, could you please pass me my phone? Hello everyone. We are just kicking off our weekly FB Live
Q&A.
and
What's that bouncy today?
I'm just going to take a breath because I need to chillax.
Yes, he's had a very busy day.
Hello everyone. Okay, so let's share that to...
So where to share, darling?
No, I need to share to my wall.
Oh, you need to share it to your wall. I haven't done that. Sorry. Share it to your wall, baby.
You share to your wall so other people can join us.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here we are. Say something. You talk. Say hello to people. Whilst I do this.
Oh, thank you for just putting me on the spot, my darling.
You're welcome.
Yes, and
hello.
That's what he often do, and that's what lives often do as well. So today's topic is what to do when your spouse doesn't support your business. A very touchy topic, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very like, oh, but your spouse is supposed to support you in everything you do, right? Isn't it? Everything you do. So yes, it's a very touchy. Even though you might think that they're supporting you, maybe the other person doesn't feel like it, even if you're thinking that you're supporting them. So there's a lot of things we need to look at, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So
let's begin. Okay.
Let's officially begin now.
All right. So what to do when your spouse doesn't support your business? So this is all about, the reason why we're talking about this is we have our latest episode on the podcast.
Yes.
Which is really all about this topic. So if you haven't listened to it yet, we encourage you to go and do that. Just head along to foundersconnect.co/podcast and you can tune into it, have a listen, and we discuss multiple ways. We actually talk about 5 different ways you can address this challenge if you're going through it.
As well.
Okay.
And 3 reasons why it's important for an entrepreneur to resolve this challenge.
There you go. Okay, so make sure you head along and go there. If you have a question on this topic or anything, business or relationships, type it in the comments.
Relationships.
Yep, we're always looking for questions. We're here to help, and whether we answer today or we put it in upcoming Facebook Live session, we'll do that. Okay.
But your questions will be answers.
Okay, so basically, let's talk about this. The actual issue here. It's this idea of I don't feel supported.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, that sometimes your spouse might think that that they are supporting you by doing certain things. And maybe your business partner doesn't think that way, isn't it?
Mm.
So
have you ever felt like someone... have you ever been in a situation where you felt someone was not supporting you? Like you had an idea or a dream or something you wanted to work on, a project. It could have been, when you were still in your corporate career or something where you just felt like you were excited about it and then you didn't get that support.
Actually, when I was in those kind of stages, I never really actually voiced my ideas much.
Ooh.
I
What's
just
that? Why?
I'm just a person that does things basically. So what I did is I just do whatever I do, and I really don't care about what people do or
Okay.
stuff like that. And so I really just like a solo person doing what I wanted to do.
Okay, but now if you want to build a dream, you can't do it on your own, can you?
Ah, definitely not. Because my dream is huge, as Anth knows, isn't it,
Yeah.
darling?
What's your dream?
My dream is to build a community that's self-sustained and have a community that's like-minded to improve, well, to have a better life for everyone, not worrying. Basically, my basic idea was not to worry, because the basic needs is, to have shelter and food, and the self-sustained community would provide for that solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big dream.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why.
Now, how would you feel if I didn't support you in that dream? And I said, that's stupid. Like, why would you do that?
How would I feel? I would say, I don't care, my darling, if you kind of thing, and just kind of try myself in that sense, because it's still my dream, but it will be a very slow way in that sense.
But how would you feel then about the relationship?
That means bye-bye,
Okay,
isn't it?
okay, so that's
it means
interesting.
bye-bye.
All right, that's interesting support. I wanted to quickly just give a shout out to Katja, who just joined. Hi, Katja. Let us know, where are you from, or say hi. We'd love to know what's happening
Yes.
in your part of the world. And if you have any questions, please just drop it in the comments, and we'll be able to answer those as we go along. Okay, so this has come up before with some of the people that we've been surveying and people in our community, where someone was they're running their own business. They were doing quite well in the business, but the partner wasn't really
Supportive
yeah
in that way.
They just didn't get, why would you do this thing, why don't you have a real job, and that,
And it's just less stress, and why you're going through all this stress for, something that is to them probably not that important at that stage, or is too big, or some sort of things like that.
so here's the thing, like when one partner is not, and we also had someone when we were in Canada, in Montreal,
Yes.
we had someone who had problems dating because they are an entrepreneur and they were dating people who were not entrepreneurs, who didn't understand why they were working all the time, why, it just didn't make sense to them why this person's working so hard, when to them it's like, well, there's an easy way of doing this, why don't you just get a day
Get
job?
a job, yeah. And
right?
then, yeah.
So there's so tell me about like the entrepreneur and why getting a day job sometimes doesn't work for the entrepreneur.
Because sometimes the entrepreneur likes to be free to express themselves and to actually try to solve the problem their way, right? And while if you're working, you have to adhere to governance, policies and corporates and, even a business owner's ideals. So it's been forced upon you to do that kind of method with
Yeah.
them.
And what do entrepreneurs typically desire most in the world?
Freedom
Okay.
and change for the world.
There you go, right?
So that's definitely not in for them. So if you chuck them in that area, then they will
Die.
they will slowly die or die faster.
Well, I had that experience like when I was working in corporate. I was driving, in the morning. I was hit peak hour. I tried to avoid peak hour, but then when you're caught in an hour, like you're literally sitting in a car for anything from 30 minutes to an hour just to get to the office, you're already starting your day feeling like crap. All right. And then you got to come home after work. And guess what? It's peak hour again because everyone else is coming home at the same time. And, it's just the worst feeling. And I observed this recently when we were walking in the morning. We happened to go into our co-working space in the morning and people were going to their jobs and no one's looking happy. Like everyone's looking at the ground. Like
We so miss a nomadic life, I really must say.
Like it's just torture, man. People are like, they're not smiling and they don't want to be there. It's just, especially Monday morning. Monday-itis, if you ever know what that is.
Nah, not me, but
well,
anyway.
yeah, there you go. But I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, I think 90% at least of
Yeah.
population
Hmm.
Yeah.
But this is not. I mean, this whole topic is not related just to the business. Like we're talking about what if your spouse doesn't support your business, but it's really about
And it's
supporting your dream.
Yeah,
Like you
dream.
have a vision. You want to create something in the world, and if the person who you love and trust and admire the most isn't supporting you on that. Because I posted this question in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and someone said, "Well, I'm not married, but I'm having this problem with my family. My parents don't support the business,
Yeah.
right? That they don't get
The tradition.
they don't get what I'm doing and why I would do it and why I would put myself through all the stress and the struggle and all these things, right? So I've got
I do have a friend who's well off, and basically his parents said, "You don't need to go there. I will support you." And it's like, but he doesn't want that. He wants to be a independent person and build his own empire.
there you go.
So that's an entrepreneur, isn't it?
Yeah.
Entrepreneur mind. Even though you already got everything already, you need to do it yourself.
And like the things that would have like the significant whether it's called innovation or disruption or changes happen in the world, like we would not have this Apple device or these phones and iPhones things if there wasn't an entrepreneur who came up with the idea. I was like, we don't like these big bulky phone things we've been using in the 80s. We probably should have something smaller that we can move around with.
Yeah.
Right? Or the planes that we fly in and the cars that we drive. Like, where do you think those things come from? Right? Because someone at some point in time had a vision or a dream and was like, this could be done better than dragging our horses around all day, every day, and they're pooping everywhere, right? So
those were the days.
Yeah, and I was reading about who was it? So a good one is Tesla right now with Elon Musk, and he's creating rocket ships, and he wants to fly to the moon and make that a commercial enterprise.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
he's working on electric cars and solar panels everywhere and whatever else. But he's actually trying to build a new way of doing energy and more efficient way of transport.
With his Tesla car.
Yeah, but they all connect to each other. All these projects, they might not sound like it, but they actually are. If you look at his sort of the bigger strategy, yeah. But he's getting a lot of like people not supporting him, because they're like, that's just crazy. Why do you want to do that? Like, our system's fine. What's wrong with our system? And he's lost his first wife as a result of that, right? Of his pursuit, because it's a very high stress situation.
I think it's because you also need to align your dreams as well. To make both go in the one direction kind of thing. So that's very important. You need to find out and how to make it work together as a couple.
Absolutely. So here's something that a comment that someone shared on social media that I was reading yesterday on a post. Okay, this is what the person wrote. They wrote, with a wife looking after 2 little girls at home, I want to be spending as much of my time with them as possible. Constant guilt. I work late, which means I get guilt for not being home. I go home for kids' bath and bed, and I get guilt for not being at work. So it's a constant issue, and you need to be constantly aware of it to keep balanced. It's very easy to get off balance, right? And this is one of the hey Ryan, thanks for joining in, brother. This is one of the challenge. If you have any questions on this topic, or if anything comes up for you, please post in the comments. We'd love to interact with you here. It is a Facebook Live and it is a Q&A session. Okay, so this person was dealing with this struggle because they're feeling guilty no matter what they do, whether they're working on the business and they're away from their wife and their family, or they're at home and they're like, but I got things I need to be doing to build my vision, to build the dream, right? And I've certainly felt this, where it's like, oh no, I'm working on a Saturday. It's taking me away from my date day. But we've got this launch. It's got to happen, because if we don't put the time in now, like, the launch doesn't go, right? And so there's this constant tension between building your enterprise, your business, your if it's a freelance career, whatever it is you're doing, and balancing the relationship as well, right? So when the significant other doesn't understand it and like just goes, hey, that's just why you're doing that. That's tremendous stress for the entrepreneur and also for the partner, right?
Yes, it's also stress on the partner as well. Of course, when your spouse, your loved one, is not happy, you're not happy either.
hmm And then you tell me about that. Okay, so when I was building SEM and I was like stressed out, or even before that, when I was starting to build SEM and I had a job, and you know, like what was going through your mind? Because I was like, I couldn't even think straight.
So basically, I wanted to really focus on his business first, to get him like up and running, and also successful enough for me to start my kind of path or dream. And yeah, it took a while, and with this, it didn't come to. Um, I guess it took too long for me, and I felt like, hey, why am I holding on and not working on my dream as well? And so that day, that fateful day, isn't it, my darling?
About a year ago, like around this time last year, yes.
Not last year, was it? A year before?
Oh, the year before. Year before, okay.
My love, darling,
Oh, there
your
you
days are astounding.
Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, yes. So basically, I actually thought I'll make it official, write a letter, say, hi, baby. Oh, no, not really. I just wrote, that I was resigning from the company. And, this is the notice.
Yeah, shock.
Yes. And
Shock.
I was up to there. No. And as I said, you're building someone else's dream, but you're also looking after other stuff. And you're not even focusing on yourself. So in that case, there's a lot of things that go through there that stumble across each other to make it up to here, right? So that's why I put in that resignation. Not only for me to see, it's for him to see as well. So there's something there that you can see, not just talking, right? So that probably was an imprint. And I noticed really to, hey, we need this to be resolved. And that's where we had a really good talk.
Okay.
And crying.
Yes.
And hugging, and lying down. There's so many stuff that day that we kind of brought us closer together and aligned our dreams and worked things out that way.
I mean, I literally thought the relationship was over. Like I thought this is it. Like,
No, I never thought that.
You were on the ground physically, not able to move, just constant bawling and crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You were crying too, my darling.
Yeah, because it's just like, my God, it's crazy. I can't even begin to explain what that was like. But it's a very painful experience, and we definitely learned a lot there about being the partner or each other's partner, and
also the business.
and understanding how we can, what doesn't work for us, and what we need to do to adjust. And it took some time. Look, we didn't solve it all there in that moment. Like it took time and months to really like work out how to communicate through that.
Yes.
So we're gonna just continue with that thought, all right? Because it's very relevant to what we're talking here.
Yes, of course.
And there's a so what can you do when your partner doesn't support your spouse? Now here's what one person wrote in one of the forums. This is their response. They said, okay, well, does it really matter? Yes, it's great to have that family support, but you are at the helm of your dream, your business. Ultimately, the buck stops with you. So be strong and strive forward, make it happen. In the end, you are creating something special, not just to benefit you, but also your family, even if they can't see it now. Yeah. All right. So that's kind of what you said a bit earlier, was kind of like, well, stuff you, I'm just going to work on it on my own.
That's my thing.
Right.
It's always been my kind of attitude.
And a couple of people also said in that this like thread went for like 30 responses, and a couple of people said, yeah, like thumbs up on that. If you don't support me, it's over. Like I'm walking out, it's done.
Well, sometimes it doesn't mean like if you're in a relationship, it's harder to deal with, because what you're so engrossed in your business, your dream, that all you can ever think about is that. While your partner doesn't really understand, of course, it's going to fall apart. So you grow apart that way. So if you understand or have some understanding of why they're doing it, then it definitely gives you some perspective to whether you want to stick around or not as well.
Yeah. Now, if you're like me and you don't agree with that, right? Okay, because that's one way to do it. That's not the only way to do it.
That's the long way.
Well, that's
definitely the long
that's
way.
I'm gonna cut the relationship, and that's I'm just gonna focus on the business. There are some people out there like us who actually want both. The dream is actually to have both, have a great, wonderful relationship and have a successful business
yes.
or career, right? And this is not tied to just business too. There are people in careers who have this problem. They're like, people, my wife or my husband doesn't support my career.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like people who become CEOs or people who
too much at work.
Like directors in companies, like they are constantly at work. So anyway, let's talk about some of these other ways. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna just like touch on. Okay, well, what can you do? Let's assume you're in the group of people who want to continue the relationship. So quitting the relationship is not an option for you.
It's not an option,
right? So
because you love your spouse so much, right? You can't live with them without them. I mean, sorry.
And here's the thing that I've learned is when you have a very strong supportive partner with you and they understand and you're on the same page working towards the same vision, then they understand why you're putting all the effort, because actually like it helps to support the family, the relationship. It helps to
it definitely does.
It comes down to communicating and like really developing your communication skills, and being able to express as accurate as possible. Now this is hard, but as accurate as possible how long this might take, and being realistic about that. And then what can we do to make sure that we also fulfill our financial goals, like make sure we can pay our rent and groceries and everything else that needs to happen on a day-to-day. So this is why we all about the financial intimacy, and we put out a free guide about that last month, which is a lot of people downloaded that and were like, okay, that's really good information, with the actual, like, you put together that spreadsheet that people can use.
It's crazy. It's great.
Yeah, and
it
so
helps.
Yeah, because you need to have those conversations, and we do that, right? Like have money conversations. We talk about the business, and let's be real. Now, I learned the hard way. This is why Cindy resigned from my company previously, because I wasn't clear.
Terrible.
Like I thought, now this is me being stupid, but I thought, oh, I could do this in 6 months. I could do this in 12 months. And then the reality hit was like one of my mentors said, you got to be serious. Like this, whatever you think is got the time frame you've got in your head, like multiply that by 3, and then now you're closer to the actual time it takes to create a successful business. Hey Matt, thanks for joining. Got my buddy Matt from Queensland's on here.
Oh,
okay.
Hi.
And so this is really like the what comes up, and learning to be able to communicate that. Now, as the partner, okay, so as the partner, how can the partner learn to communicate better, and to be able to express what they need in the relationship?
So I think you firstly you need to be clear what your individual goals are, right? And then you need to talk about that, and also your combined goals as a couple. So once you have that clear, you can both try to align your goals and work on it together. And what we did was
Post-it notes.
Yes, we did post-it notes the old-fashioned way on one of our date days, and we put it all spread it all over the table in the cafe, eh?
Yep.
And yes, and so we planned the 5 years and put in everything that we wanted to do, and money we wanted to create, and that was very clear and straightforward in that regards.
And a big part of that, so this is the reason why we put an exercise in the financial workbook, which is actually setting clear goals and a vision for your relationship. That's one of the exercises we put in the workbook. And it's something that you can sit down and work through the different areas of your life, and you do that for yourself first, and then you do that with your partner, and then you find the commonalities and you find the differences. And that's so important, to acknowledge differences, because there are some goals that like
Has to be individual.
yeah, like they might have that you don't have, and that's okay. Like if you
Yeah,
want,
you need that. Though.
yeah. If you want to run a marathon and they're never going to run a marathon, then you can't drag them along with you. Like, it's not going to happen, right? But what you may find is there's something they might want to do that you're not going to do, and you support each other in saying, well, that's okay. You can go and do that. I'm going to support you in doing that and you will support me in doing my thing, right? And then there will be things where there are aligned things. So one of the exercises that we did was, just sharing on one of our date days, our bucket lists. Like, what are some of the things, ideas, like experiences that you want to have in your life? And then we kind of go, okay, well, what are the ones that we can do together? And what are the ones that, probably not a good fit for us to do together, right?
Yeah, like go to do your bungee jumping. I am going to do it.
Why not?
Because I don't want to do it.
Why not bungee jump? Bungee jump's awesome.
Exactly, see? That's my point. I don't think so, but who thinks so?
There you go. But Cindy will jump out of a plane for some reason.
I will, but not that one.
There you go. Okay. So that's like just a couple of ideas for you. We've actually put together some exercises in a workbook, right, for couple communication. So here it is. This is a bonus worksheet that you can go grab. It's free. There are 10 exercises for better couples communication. Just head to the website there. Cindy, if you want to drop the link into the chat there, people can go and grab that. All right. And in there, I just, that we've collected a bunch of different exercises that we've been through and utilized and have been great for us. And there are some others that, that we've come across in our research for our communication guide that is very helpful for helping you to develop your communication.
Exactly. This is so terrible. I should type it up.
Well, don't worry. We'll throw in a link after at the end of this. But
we definitely will throw it in.
Yep.
I'm typing it as we.
If you just go to our website, and then you'll be able to grab it there. But definitely highly recommend you sit down, use that, print it out or whatever, have it on your phone, run through the exercises with your partner, and that will help you to really just develop the ability to share, talk through. There's some exercises there which are more around how to deal with conflict and being able to have those honest and sometimes really difficult conversations.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Needed though.
Yeah.
Needed.
And
needed.
there's some active listening exercises in there which are really powerful when you can really use this and practice those, especially when emotional conversations happen. Right? It's communicate, not communication.
Yeah, thank you, my darling.
There you go.
It was auto, it's called an auto thing.
Well, there it is. Cindy's just dropping that link in there for you.
I just dropped the link.
Yep, just go in there and grab it. And just a reminder, if you haven't listened to our episode yet, we cover much more, some other practical tips that you can do if you are dealing with, being in a relationship where the partner doesn't support you, or if you're dating someone who's like a friend who's dating and they want to meet someone who supports them, this is helpful as well because
sooner or later, hey?
Yeah,
it's better sooner.
You can prepare for those conversations and you will know how to communicate and what to communicate to your potential partner. So that's going to help you as well.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to leave it there. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions on this topic, go ahead and drop it in the comments or join our Facebook group and let us know in there. And we will see you
next Facebook Live. Ciao.